All right, let's continue with more news coming to the fore. Let's turn our attention to one of the city's most urgent financial reforms. Johannesburg has launched a sweeping new initiative. It's aimed at addressing chronic municipal debt and illegal service connections. It's called Project Lukisa, which in Sesotho it means to fix or to sort out. And it's the city's largest move to recover billions owed in unpaid electricity, water, as well as rates. From luxury homes, large-scale commercial properties to government apartments, the city says that no one is exempt. But at the heart of this operation, it's a bold plan. Disconnections for the worst defaulters. There's also new rules for property transfers, tighter monitoring mechanisms as well with regards to illegal connections at large. So perhaps to unpack, what all this means for residences and for businesses, as well as the city's financial future, we're going to be joined by Malope, Ramagaga, of course, Acting Group Head for Revenue and Shared Services. This is at the City of Johannesburg. And Professor Alex van den Heever, he is from Wits School of Governance, joins us here in studio. So on that note, I just want to welcome you, Malope, and thank you for your time. If we look at the basics of Project Lukisa, what it stands for, what prompted it to be launched at this juncture, talk to us about that. Also the play on its name, to fix, to sort out.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. The city of Johannesburg is currently facing a very urgent and financial challenge. And this was brought about by the severe impact of the debt that we are facing as a city of Johannesburg. And this is being impacted by an outdated system. Our SABC system, the billing system is an outdated one. Inaccurate billing. I think you have seen a majority of our customers taking us to court due to the inaccurate billing. And then the inconsistent enforcement of our bylaws, inconsistent enforcement also of our credit management as a whole. For years, customers have received estimated billings, and this has created queries that go unresolved. And because of this, we then felt that it is about time that we listen and we do what is right. And this Project Lukisa then came about. And Project Lukisa is to fix in Setswana, where we are aiming to first fix our billing system, fix that we don't have customers that are estimated, and our credit control and credit control and our measures are tighten up. And we also try to reduce in terms of, we have had lots of customers complaining about fraud and corruption that is happening when the disconnection when the disconnection about to be done, especially in different areas. The aim is to restore the fairness and accuracy and integrity of the city and engagement with its residents and businesses.
Well, Malope,
it's about time that we really go in and try to fix everything so that ultimately when the customer sees the bill, he sees the bill that is reflective of all the consumption that the customer has had.
All right, thank you for painting that picture. I think just before I bring Prof. Alex into the conversation, I just want to look at quantifying some of the facts and figures in regards to the debt owed and defaulters as well. Talk to us about how much is currently owed to the city by defaulters. Have you got facts and figures on that front? And how critical is it for Johannesburg's financial stability, given the dire state of affairs?
Yeah. The total debt for the city of Johannesburg currently sitting at about 64 billion. 64 billion. And we have categorized it per region, from region A to region G. We also have categorized it in terms of customers' propensity to pay and customer behavior. Those customers that have not paid the city in the last 6 months, those are the customers that we are mainly focusing on. The customers that have been quiet, that have never seen a disconnection, the customers that are then releasing dogs and onto our resources that are going out there to do the disconnections. We are looking at the total debt. Our total debt, it is mainly in the residential, sitting at about 17 billion of the 60. I see 61 billion it is reflected. But to date, the total debt is sitting about 64 billion.
Okay, all right, thank you. Thank you for that picture now. I want to bring in Prof. Alex from Wits School of Governance just to weigh in. So we've heard the facts now, and it's alarming. We're also looking at the implications this has had for the city at large, but also just the administrative order and the cost for the city at large and the quality of life. What are you observing on that front at this point, even if we're just looking at accountability at large for the municipality? Concerns?
Very, very concerning, because we have to ask, how does it get to this point?
Yeah.
Personally, myself, I'm sitting with estimates from July last year because my meter stopped sending information to City Power, and despite numerous attempts to correct it, nothing is done. So it remains providing a fault, and I'm on estimates. The water estimates are wrong, despite the fact I have a borehole and no usage at all. I'm being billed on water. So these are now in terms of the residential debt that is collected, probably around about 70% is probably unrecoverable at this point, because it depends on exactly how it's occurred. In the relatively affluent and higher income areas, that would be relatively secure. You can ensure payment at the end of the day. There's a track record of their payment, but people who are bridging, people who are stealing electricity, in those instances, it's very difficult to work out how much they actually owe at the end of the day. But the city is having to purchase that from the bulk supplier, which is Eskom. So there's a shortfall between how much is actually having to be paid to Eskom and how much is actually collected in terms of revenue, creating a financial death spiral if you don't correct this. And my estimates, as far as I can tell, around about 19 billion rand in revenue was collected by City Power last year, but they budgeted 23 billion in revenue. And this year they're budgeting 25.6 billion, which is way above the actuals. But we never see in the budget information the actuals. How realistic is it that they're going to make up 6 billion rand in shortfalls over actuals in a single financial year? So that's on current revenue, sure, as opposed to historical debt. So there's a considerable problem here. And it seems that there are systems that are not working, and these need to be repaired. And it's not and it's water and it's electricity.
It's systemic issues that's obviously coming to the fore. And I mean, we're looking at what needs to go into this, because even if we're looking at the role of the ombudsman in recovery, litigation that follows, inaccurate measures that you have been subject to as well. Where do we start?
So I've submitted complaint to the Ombud. Nothing has transpired. So the next is legal action. So this will be the case for many people, because you can't continue to operate on invoices that can't be justified. Governments can only charge you for what they can verify. So this is a systemic issue, and the city can't afford to operate with structural shortfalls. And we're not even discussing the problems on the cost side, where there are huge costs also due to inadequate maintenance, so systems that are failing, and basically losses to the system that are largely due to an unmanaged system.
Yeah,
ineffectively managed system.
Yeah, Malope, I mean, you've heard some of the personal experiences from Prof. Alex, but we're looking at some of the systemic issues that you're also dealing with. But as a city, you know, accurately identifying, being transparent about defaulting parties, what this also means at large for consumers. Tell us a little bit more about the clarity that can be provided on that front. You're also hearing about litigation. I mean, that's another avenue that adds to the mammoth tasks that lie ahead.
Yeah, no, thanks, and the professor there. You know, when I started, I spoke about that this project, Lukisa, aim is to fix estimated billing that we have seen. If you look at the city of Johannesburg performance, we are talking about 21% of our total customers being estimated. Some estimations, they go over 6 months, and that's what we're trying to correct here. But what's nice about what the Prof is talking about when he says that the meter stopped sending the reading, it means that Prof has a automated meter, meaning that when we go to the meter, we can download all the consumption that the Prof has used in the past a number of months when we have been estimating him. And when we get the readings, what we normally would do is to reverse the charges, the estimations, and is to bill based on actual readings. That then squares up the issues that Prof highlighted, including going to the ombudsman. What we're trying to do, we have with Project Lukisa, we have a streamline of teams that are dealing with all cases that have been with ombudsman. If you can look our turnaround now on ombudsman issues, we have looked at it for 2 months. That's our turnaround on ombudsman issues. But what we're trying to do with Project Lukisa is us not to get to a point where customers go to ombudsman or where we end up being in court for litigations. We are trying to really save the city with this project, trying to really save the city money and money on litigations, because you know as government, the moment you engage with lawyers, now it's another cost that you have to bear, and this cost comes from the same amount, the same money that we need to do our maintenance and our refurbishments. The whole aim is really to reduce the queries that are coming from the customers. That's why if you look at our program, the program Lukisa, we are talking about reduction on estimations.
Malope, let me just come in there for the interest of time, because now you are speaking, well, we're trying to ascertain what the measure of success is going to be. So for those with who are going to have penalties incurred, looking at payment arrangements, cut-off dates as well, deadlines before disconnection happens. What does that look like then in reality as we're speaking? If clarity is kindness.
Okay, on debt, what we're doing for those customers, let's say there are customers that debt is too high. We are looking at AODs, acknowledgement of debts, and acknowledgement of debts. If the residential, we are looking at acknowledgement of debt as low as 10% down payment on it. And on all customers, remember, we also have, as a city, we also have those rebates that we are giving to our customers, those that cannot really afford. We are also looking at what we call the debt relief program that is going to cancel when it's approved. It will be rolling from the next financial year. Our next financial year starts in July. Those are some of the things that we are doing as a city to assist those that cannot afford. But for those that can afford, and they had their bills, suddenly they saw a huge bill because of the corrections that we are doing. We've got what we call acknowledgement of debt, where we are giving customer some period on which he can clear the debt. And this ranges from 12 months to 60 months, depending on what type of a customer we are talking to.
Okay,
Yes.
Thank you for speaking to that. Prof, I need to wrap up, but you hear these sentiments now. Is this enough? Is it convincing? Is this a model that can be implemented in other provinces? Hits and misses as we wrap.
Well, we need to see results. We haven't seen results yet. And the problem with not getting results in this case is that the city is unable to raise the revenue to maintain the system. So this becomes a knock-on problem, and essentially can result in disinvestment and a long-term structural problem in raising revenue for a city like this. It should be a no-brainer. It should be easy to run a city like this in terms of revenue and expenditure. But for us to lose this amount of revenue, and I think it's important to note there's an issue of cross-subsidization in this, which is important. There are people who do struggle to be able to pay. But there's a distinction. You don't make your system, you don't allow the system to informally cross-subsidize people. It must be an explicit system. People who steal from the system are going to crash the system. Yeah. So the subsidies have to be embedded in the tariffs and explicit in the budget process, but not something where you're too scared to actually raise the revenue because of the political reporctions, which I think is the case.
Well, there's certainly more questions than answers at this point, but we're obviously going to see this drive and really quantify it as we look at action being implemented on that front. Prof. Alex van den Heever from Wits School of Governance joining us. Of course, also Malope Ramagaga, representing the city of Johannesburg, on a debt collective drive. Really just looking to recover about 61 billion. We're looking at some of the systemic issues, the administrative issues, capacity, fraud, corruption, and what this also means for the most vulnerable in the city of Johannesburg at large. Again, thank you to both of them for joining us at this hour.